Good morning, students. Welcome to online class. Hope you are keeping well by the grace of God. So, once again, I am with you to teach you social science history segment. The topic is the French Revolution. Guys, in my previous lecture, I taught you why French Revolution took place and what are the three factors of French Revolution. Three aspects of French Revolution are liberty, equality, and fraternity. For these three aspects or factors, people revolted against the contemporary monarchy, and thus the French Revolution took place in 1789. It is one of the significant incidents in European history. You know that. So, students, today I am going to start with the heading France abolishes monarchy and becomes a republic. Guys, those who have the NCERT book, you can open page 14. Those who don't have, no problem. Only I am going to read before you 3 or 4 lines. The starting lines of the topic, today's topic. France abolishes monarchy and becomes a republic, on page 14. The situation in France continued to be tense during the following years, although Louis XVI had signed the constitution. He entered into secret negotiation with the King of Prussia. Rulers of other neighboring countries too were worried by the development in France and made plans to send troops to put down the events that had been taking place there since the summer of 1789. So, the neighboring country, Prussia also, he negotiated Louis XVI. He was also quite worried about the contemporary situation of France, and it happens in politics, you know very well, and the current, whatever the political condition it is going on, more or less the same as it took place in mid-18th century. So here, today, under this heading, I am going to discuss some factors. Already I have discussed in my previous class that why French Revolution took place. These three factors. During that time, who was the king? He was Louis XVI. And today, that the discussion, the topic of discussion is, during that time, during the rule or reign of Louis XVI, the economic, social, and political condition became worse. The fund was totally empty. That means the royal courts fund was totally empty. Social condition was not at all satisfactory. Discrimination or segregation, gender discrimination, it was a common factor during that time. And the political condition also became worse because the two estates means the two categories, the ecclesiastical body and the nobles, the landlords and the feudal lords, they became powerful. They were the flatterers of the king. So the common men, they were the sufferers during the time. And who were the common men? The third estate, the farmers, the landless farmers, the artisans, the masons, the sculptors, the thinkers, the poets, the writers, the lawyers, they were the common men. They had to pay the tax also simultaneously. In spite of that they were poor, they could not afford, but tax was imposed upon them. They were compelled to pay the tax. And if they were the defaulters, they were tortured by the nobles or landlord. And during that time, what was the condition of women? The condition of women was also worse, because gender discrimination was there. Society was dominated by men, that means male sex. Women only, they had to look after their children, their husband, their family. So they were leading a deplorable life. But one thing we have to notice, guys, that when poverty was overpowering this third estate, then the women, they were compelled to do work outside. They started earning money on daily wage. That time their family members, they allowed them to go out. On daily wage they were earning, because they had to feed their children. They had to manage the family. So we can see the contrast. Simultaneously, the gender discrimination, but the women, they were going outside to earn money for job. So here we see that why the revolutionary activities, it continued. In the beginning I read just before you, because people that time, that common men that time, they were demanding republic state. They were demanding a sort of democracy. They were tired of monarchy during that time. So that is why they raised their voices against the contemporary system or the monarchy. So they were wanting that through vote, one government should be formed, or you can say a political body should be formed, and they will rule the state accordingly or in a systematic manner. So through casting vote, they started the process, and only men were allowed to cast vote. Here you can see the discrimination. Women were not allowed to cast vote. They were allowed to earn money. They were allowed to do job, but they were not allowed to cast vote. Only men above 25 years were entitled to cast their votes. Anyhow, the constitution formed, and king, he was compelled to sign the constitution, that was known as convention. Now guys, in between, I would like to say that it is mentioned in your chapter that when revolutionary activities were going on, a significant category emerged during that time, that is called middle class category. And that middle class category, it became active during the revolutionary activities till the government formed. Mind it, you have to remember, or you have to pay attention that till the government formed. Till the government formed, a revolutionary group or the activities were continuing. A particular revolutionary group or body was known as Jacobin Club. Jacobin Club. Club, you know, that a group of people, they form a club. So they formed a club that is known as Jacobin Club. They were educated people, they were intellectuals, and they were inspiring the common men to raise their voices against the contemporary system in a logical manner they were convincing them. So the people, they were convinced, and as a result, constitution formed. So Jacobin Club had a great contribution. The third estate, middle class category, they had a great contribution. But one satire is here. What is the satire? That after formation of government or convention, it formed, that means the government formed. The date and day you can note down in your copy, 21st October. Note down 21st October 1792. 1792. Government formed. As soon as the government formed or a political body, it became active. Then the activities of the Jacobin Club started declining. They were no more popular as the previous state. Only they were centralized in the artisans, the small shopkeepers. But see guys, they had a great role, the great contribution during the revolutionary activities. They were quite active. They were revolutionists. And now when government formed, their activities started declining.